Alright, thank you for joining me for another Easy Mesh tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to use Blender to make XY text prims for Second Life. So basically you're going to be making mesh faces to display text on, like you see on contest boards and stuff. So let's get into it. I'm not going to go too incredibly into Blender. I'm just going to show you what you need to know like I always do. So here we go. Let's load up Blender. And if you just got Blender, I'm using kind of an older version because I like it, and I use version 2.69. You can look it up and find that version, or most of the hotkeys and stuff are the same for the newer versions. So it's your choice on how you want to do that. Anyways, let's get started. First here you'll probably see a little cube in the center. I would right click on that cube like this light, and then you press delete and you delete that little cube. We don't need that cube. What we're going to do, and I'm leaving these things in here, they're actually lights, and they might help us, but they might not. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to add and then mesh. And what we want to add here is a grid. So we're going to add this grid, and you'll see it down here. And I'm going to position it kind of more in the center here by clicking these little arrows and just kind of positioning it like that. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom into this, and to do that you just use your middle mouse wheel, and then to pan around you use your middle mouse wheel again, use it like a button, click it, and then just rotate it around. And you'll see that this is kind of down underneath these lines and stuff, so I'm going to bring it up. Okay. It didn't position itself perfectly, but that's okay for what we're doing. Next, we need to be able to see the grid, because this is actually not just one square, it's a whole bunch of squares. So if we click down here at the bottom and go to edit mode, you'll see each individual square. The problem is that they're all highlighted, and we can only use 8 of them. So you press A, and then that makes them so they're all not selected. And if it didn't work the first time, just press A again, and it should work. Next, down here at the bottom, you'll notice there's this little face tool. You click it, and you see all these little dots. You're going to want to hold down Shift and right click each one of these one at a time. I know there's a way to just select them all with, by pressing B, but I'm not trying to confuse you all. So just click them all. It takes only a second to do that. All but 8. And you want your 8 to be in a row, because you're going to be able to use this mesh for a lot of different things. And you can also, once you've tried this and done it and made sure that it works, you can have different configurations if you're making different projects. Maybe you want to use one text prim that has, 4 squares on the top and 4 on the bottom, or something like that. You can do that, but for now I'm just going to show you the straight across, like you're going to read it off of a page here. So I'm going to click all but 8 of these, and if you look, there should be 2 sets of 4. Yep. And then you press delete, and then you want to go to faces. So it will get rid of everything but 8 of those, right? So next thing I'm going to do is I'm holding down Shift and using my middle mouse wheel to kind of go up a little bit, but I want to get these things in a view so that I could see them pretty good. Okay, so next we need to make each one of these faces represent a texture, and to do that, I just grab this little thing and slide it over. You'll see this little circle and this little checkerboard. Okay, the circle is your materials, and your checkerboard is your faces. So first we need to make a material. So we add a material, and I'm just going to go through and add these new materials, and I'm going to rename them. Okay, I'm going to name this 1, and then I'll make another one. I'm going to name this one 2. And if you watch, what I'm actually doing here is I click this little plus button to add a face, and I click new to add the material. And then in the material, I'm going to change the name of it so I can keep track of these things. And I'm just going to do that all the way until I get to 8. So Excuse me there for a second. 4, add a material. We'll call that 5. Okay, now we'll add a material. We'll call that 6. And we'll add a material. Just almost done here. 7 and 8. Okay. So for each one of these, oops, let's get rid of that one. That was a mistake. Okay, it doesn't want to let me, but that's okay. Okay, so for each one of these, we need to now assign a texture. So we do that by selecting one of these and then clicking this little grid. So we're going to select one and then we're going to click new. Or I'm sorry, select one and then click the little checkerboard thing up here. That's your textures. And then click new. Now, this is where it gets kind of confusing, but right here it says type, and we need to change this type to image or movie. Okay. Now, if you go down, you'll see it says, here in image, it says open. You're going to want to find a set of basically numbers that are perfectly square. So I've already made some. So I have them all here labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So I open one, which goes in 1. Then I go back to the little circle thing and I click 2. And then back over here to the checkerboard, and I'm going to do the same thing, change this to a movie or image or movie, and then I'm going to go and continue to make this number 2. Okay, and I'm just going to continue to do that over and over again. So here we go. Image or movie. Sorry if I mumble a little bit. 3. Uh-oh, yeah, that's good, okay. And then I'm going to go to 4. Okay, let's do this. New. Image or movie. This is 5, I think. I don't remember. That's okay. I think it's 4. I could be wrong. I'm about to find out. Yeah, that was 4. Good. Not messed up yet. So let's make 5. I didn't want to pause during this part and just do it because I want you to see the repetition of it. I figured, and I might be wrong, it might help you to understand what exactly I'm doing, by seeing it over and over again. Hopefully that will imprint it in your brain somehow. I don't know. That's just my thought. So I'm not pausing the video, but here we go. We're continuing to do it. New, and then image or movie. And then we go to 6. Okay. And then we'll get 7 in here. New, image or movie. And we'll go to upload number 7. Okay. And the last one is going to be number 8. New, image or movie. And we'll go to number 8. Okay. So now that we have all our textures in, we don't really have to mess with this part again. We will in the end just to check things, but we're done with that. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to change our scene here. So right now it's on the default scene, but we want to be able to see the UV, or basically the way that things are mapped out, and map these textures onto the faces. So we go to UV editor, okay, and I'm going to reposition this so we could see this a little bit better here. Which is not liking me very much, so I'm going to drag it oops. I'm going to drag this whole thing a little closer. and try to cam it a little bit so that we can see it a little better. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so first thing we want to do is I'm going to press A again and just select one face. So this one over here, that's going to be number 1. But we're not going to be able to apply a texture to it until we unwrap it. So to do that, you just simply press U, or you can go here to Mesh down here at the bottom, go to UV Unwrap, and then Unwrap. But I just find it easier to press U and click Unwrap. So that'll show us square. That's the exact square we have here. So the next thing we do is we go down here where it shows this picture of this picture basically. And we select one of these that we've already loaded in. So obviously I'm going to press 1 and you'll see it right there. There's one. But the problem is, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you this. Right here next to edit mode, you're going to want to click this and go to texture mode. And then you'll see it on the actual mesh. So the next thing we need to do is, if you notice, this 1 is facing the wrong direction. It's facing to the right, and we want it straight up and down. So to rotate it, put your mouse over this area and press R. And the next thing you want to do is hold Shift so that it rotates this oops, I'm messing it all up. Control C. Hold on. Press R, and then the next thing you want to do is you want to get it pretty close to where you need it, which is like that, and then hold Shift, which will snap it into place. Because you want this thing to be perfect, right? Okay, we're done with that one. Let's move on to the next, and to do that you just click on the right click with your right mouse button, by the way, to select something. Select the next one and you're going to go to 2. And we're going to do the same thing. Oh, see, I messed up. You can always hit Control Z to undo your last move or several moves back, but what you need to do is unwrap it every time. So you press U, unwrap, and then I can then put the texture in. Okay, and then you'll see it on there. So same thing, I'm going to rotate so it's the right direction, and then I'm going to hold Shift, or I'm sorry, it's Control to snap it into position. I'm going to redo this one because I think I was holding Shift. Yeah, there we go. And we just keep doing that. So U to unwrap, and then we get our texture, which is number 3. Make sure these are going in order, and then we rotate the texture how we need it. Like that, and then we go to the next. Next, you unwrap. And again, I could pause and let you figure out, or pause and just show you the end. But I want you to see it. See, we got lucky on this one. It's straight up and down. I don't know why it changes them like that, but it does for some reason. So we don't have to worry about rotating that one, which is probably going to be the only one that happens on, but you never know. 5. Oh, that one went right too. I don't know if it's just remembering, but well, we continue. Unwrap, add a texture. 6. That one's right. Maybe it just remembered after all those times of doing it. I don't know. Usually I don't get this lucky. U to unwrap, and then we'll add another texture. But it's good that you know how to rotate it in case this happens where all of a sudden my 7 is crooked. I don't know why it does that, but it does. It must just be a flaw. So R to rotate, and we'll rotate it till it's where it needs to go, holding down the Control button so that it gets straight or square on the face. And the last one is what we're going to do. So we're going to go number 8. Oops, I messed up. It's important to unwrap them, otherwise you won't see the texture right, and it's very difficult to position. It's possible, but very difficult. So make sure to unwrap. Okay, now let's rotate this one so it's the way it needs to go. Control. And there we go. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all we need there. Now let's go back to our default mode here by going to the top and go to default. And what we're going to do now is we're going to click the little circle thing to go to our materials and make sure that each face is assigned the proper material. Okay, it's important to keep these in order. Don't bring in 6, then 5, then 2. Keep them in order because that's the face order of your mesh. So do everything in order and you'll be fine. So we start clicking these and we'll see it's, on 1. Then I click, and they're not assigned right now. You'll see this should be moving down this list. So basically we just need to assign them. So we click that and we click assign. And then we click this and we click assign. Oops. Make sure to click the right one there. Click assign. And so on and so forth. We keep going down, assigning these. It's material. And then 5, or what is this, 4? Assign. And 5. Assign. You could have done this, or I could have done this actually when I was making these, but I didn't. So it doesn't really matter when you do it. Some people, for some reason, think it's very important to assign your materials beforehand, but I don't. So anyways, assign. So now we can go through these materials and make sure they're all right. So we'll go, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're all good there. Just one more check. I'll go back to the UV editor and I'll make sure that all of these are the right textures by clicking them and making sure the number changes on the left to what they need to be. Okay, everything's good. So now all we have to do is export this. Now some people may not, or you may not need a 7 or 8, or you might want a 3-face mesh or prim. And all you have to do there, and let me show you that real quick, go back to edit mode. And when you're in edit mode in here, is you select one of these and then you click delete. And then you just go delete face, and then you all of a sudden, save this file, because all of a sudden you can make any of them out of this, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or 5, or if you wanted to make them vertical or horizontal, you could do that just by using the rotation of the texture in the UV editor. Okay, but now all we have to do is go back to object mode here, and here's our mesh, and if I click textures, you'll see them all laid out on this thing here. Now I'm just going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to Export as a Collada file. Okay, you're not going to probably see this Avastar Collada file. That's an add-on. But just export it as a Collada, default Collada DAE file. That's what Second Life wants. And we have to find somewhere to export it to. So I'm just going to export this to the desktop. I'm going to call it 8 face mesh example. I probably spelled that wrong, but I didn't put any spaces in there. Okay, so we'll export. Okay, we're done with Blender. That's it. That's all we needed to do. Next, I'm going to open up Second Life, and we're going to upload that, and you'll see exactly how it works. So let me just pause the video while I upload that. All right, so here we are back. I've logged into Second Life, and I said that I was going to pause it while I upload, but I think it's important that I show you how to upload this. It's the normal procedure for uploading, but if someone hasn't done it before, I want them to be able to do it. So first you go to Build, and then you go to Upload and Mesh Model. Next I'm going to go to my desktop and find that file. This is my 8-face mesh example, and we open that. Okay, next I'm going to see if, there it is. Okay, so you're only going to be able to see one side of this thing, so I actually had to hold down the control button so that I could see it because it was flipped upside down. So we have all these load things here, but the only thing I'm really going to worry about for now, and you can change this so that you could see it from further distances and stuff like that by increasing or decreasing these numbers. But it also adds to your land impact. So what I'm just going to do is change this to 0.25 because that's going to make it smaller when we upload, so it's not humongous. It'll still probably be big, but not as big. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that, and then I am going to calculate the weights and fees. And okay, it's going to cost me 11 lindens. I can do that. Click upload, and then we should see it pop up here in my recent. Okay, so my recent objects, I should have one in objects here that's called, yep, there's grid. They named it grid, I didn't change it. But I just resed it, but I don't see it. Oh yes, there it is. It's really tiny. You're probably going to want them really tiny, but let me rotate this. Okay, here we go. Rotate it like that. Okay, I'm actually going to stretch this out because it is really tiny. So that you can see. Let me move it, and then I'll change the texture to full bright and white so that we can see it. And now I'm just going to add a script into it so that we can display the text in it. And I will send you or in the comments, I will have a link to where you can get this script or get a script like it. Let me see, scripts. You won't be able to get this script because it's a custom script, but you will be able to find scripts that will do the same thing. So anyways, here we go. So I will add this bare bones XyzzyText script to the content. Okay. And then I believe I just type something into local. Yeah, bare bones, type /1 in a message. /1, hi, this is Yo-Yo Crescendo. And you'll see it is upside down. Rotate, we'll rotate this, and you will see that voila, we have made a 8-face or mesh text script or text mesh that you can use on your projects, and you can make all different variations of this. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Thank you all for subscribing and liking. Please don't, please feel free to leave any comments you want or ask any questions, and I'll try to get back with you on them. But yeah, there you go.